Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak to you all today about the volatile Florida insurance market. But a little bit about me first. My name is Kristen Gibbs, and I'm an insurance advisor for Galt Insurance Group. I have been in this business for almost 4 years, and it definitely keeps me on my toes. I was born and raised in New Jersey and have a Bachelor of Arts degree from Clemson University. Go Tigers! My family and I moved to Naples 8 years ago, and I thank God every day we made the decision to come here. My background is in mortgages, insurance, and in real estate. I am also a proud member of a local Rotary Club and a member of the Women's Council of Realtors, where I partake in numerous networking events to help build relationships and devote my time to help our community. I enjoy what I do and cannot do everything and be successful without the loving support of my husband and my 2 beautiful children. So now time to get down to business and explain what is going on in this Florida insurance market. People ask me every day, Kristen, what is going on? Why are my rates going up? Why is my insurance being canceled? I haven't filed the claim. What is going on? Well, the Florida insurance market has had their ups and downs, but the market the last few years have been really, really bad. And here are the factors why. Too much litigation, claims abuse, high reinsurance costs, and with those factors, now we have restricted carrier guidelines. So to explain to you about what reinsurance is for insurance companies' insurance. So in fact, an insurance company does not get paid until insured has a policy for 1 year. So these reinsurance premiums are millions of dollars, and the carriers are required to make their payment around this time of the year. And if they don't do that, then of course they go bankrupt, and then they're no longer in the industry. Or if they do get lucky, they get bought out by other carriers or investors and remain in good standing and pay their premium. But the problem with reinsurance, they're tired of the state of Florida. We have so many hurricanes, so much claims abuse and litigation. So therefore the rates are increasing. And with the rates increasing, we will see in the next 18 to 24 months that the rates will become more stable. But until then, they're going to continue to go up. So now we have Governor DeSantis. He has been amazing to our insurance market. He has done everything possible so far to help us. And in December of 2022, he passed a very important historic reform bill. He eliminated one-way attorney fees and eliminated assignment of benefits. And most recently, he passed more bills which will help stabilize this insurance market, such as reduction in timelines for carriers to approve or deny a claim, reduction in underwriting from 90 to 60 days, and then he has shortened the time from a claim from 2 years to 1 year. Then we have Citizens. Citizens is the state insurance company, and it's really the short-term solution. So many people, millions of people are getting insured by Citizens. It's a short-term solution for now, but the main purpose of Citizens is to be there now and get out. What has happened is because there's so many people insured with Citizens, it has not helped our insurance market. So therefore, DeSantis has put into play that Citizens has now restricted their guidelines. You can no longer insure a home, whether it be like anything over $700,000 for their dwelling coverage. And also, if you are in a flood zone other than X, then you have to have flood insurance. Now, years down the road in the future, we were told that Citizens will eventually require their property owners to have flood insurance, no matter what flood zone they're in. So that brings me back to another topic, flood insurance. Kristen, why is my flood so expensive? My neighbor only pays a couple $100. Why are you quoting me $5,000? What is going on? Well, FEMA as a whole has taken so many losses, not just in Florida, but across the whole entire country, such as Louisiana, Texas, Georgia. So we have a huge problem, and therefore the rates have gone up. And FEMA is also basing a flood policy no longer on the flood zone. They're basing it on the size of the home, the replacement cost, and the location. Well, we live in the coast of Florida, so of course these premiums are going to be outrageous. So what has happened is that before Hurricane Ian, we had private flood carriers that were helping our clients for economic purposes, and they were coming in with lower premiums and offering more coverage. But again, now Hurricane Ian happened, so now a lot of the private flood carriers, they have gone out of business, and then we're back to FEMA. So what is going on right now? We are in prime time hurricane season. We are seeing more carriers come into play, and I truly believe after this hurricane season, we're going to start seeing more private flood carriers, because again, we just have to get through this hurricane time. The difference between FEMA and private flood is FEMA is regulated by the government, and then you have private, which is admitted by it's non-admitted carriers. So it's not admitted by the state, so they have coverages that can help a client with their insurance. Now, what kind of reports do you need right now to get insurance to insure a home? Well, you've heard of the term wind mitigation report. Kristen, I have a condo, I have a home, the home is new, the home is 30 years old. What do I need, to get an insurance quote? Well, a wind mitigation report. A wind mitigation report is good for 5 years. It looks at the age and the roof covering, and it has all these different criteria for attachments. And have the roof is attached to the home. The biggest credit that you can get on your insurance premium is opening protection. If all the windows and all the doors have hurricane protection, whether it be a shutter or impact glass, you can get a decrease on your insurance premium. Now, condos, yes, it's good to have a wind mitigation report from the unit owner themselves. These carriers do not they do not apply an opening protection premium on a condo association wind mitigation report. And new homes today, which I tell prospects and clients and realtors who I work with, just get a wind mitigation report, because some of these carriers apply the opening protection on newer homes, or some of them do not, and therefore you need a wind mitigation report. So now in lies a 4-point inspection. I get asked all the time, well, is it just like a home inspection report? It is not. A 4-point inspection looks at 4 things. It looks at the age and condition of the roof, the age and condition of the plumbing, the age and condition of the electric, and the age and condition of the HVAC. These carriers want these 4-point inspections on these older homes. They want to make sure that the home is in good condition, and therefore they're not going to have issues when it comes to inspection time, when they do an inspection after the policy is bound. The 4-point inspection is only good for 1 year. So claims history for buyers and sellers. I get asked all the time, well, why do you need to know if the seller had a claim? Unfortunately, in the state of Florida, the carriers look at the last 3 to 5 years of claims history, whether it be on the property itself, or the homeowner. So I have clients where they're in New Jersey, Michigan, and they've had claims on their homes. It still affects them in getting insurance, unfortunately, here in Florida. Now, I have carriers where it's okay to have that. They can, especially the non-admitted markets, that they're fine with the claims. It all depends, because it's all liability on the insurance companies. Water claim is a huge one. The carriers look at how much the water claim is, when it was. So again, this insurance market keeps changing, and because we work with so many different carriers, we take one risk at a time. And myself as an agent, I am here to represent the client and trying to get them and explain their story so the underwriter can approve their insurance policy. So now homeowners insurance. There's all different types of homeowners insurance products. What we're seeing a lot right now is because of the volatile insurance market and not many carriers in play, the homes on Marco Island, the homes closer to the coast, these premiums are outrageous. Being totally upfront, I offer my clients and people who I am trying to gain business from, if they want wind coverage, because that's a huge part of the premium on an insurance policy, or if they don't want wind, if they want to roll the dice, it's totally up to them. And these policies that are ex-wind, as maybe you've heard, there is no wind coverage at all. So if there's a windstorm, hurricane, there's no wind. But we at Galt Insurance like to give our prospects options of what they would like for their insurance. Now we've got condo insurance. Condo insurance, we're just insuring the interior of the unit, whether it be the dwelling, the contents, the liability. Again, I always ask for a wind mitigation report because this is what these carriers are looking for. Now, to wrap it up, who is Galt Insurance Group and why you should do business with us? We're a family-owned agency. We just celebrated our 19th year anniversary. We're located downtown in Naples. We sell all property and casualty and commercial lines. We are growing. We are hiring. We're constantly looking to build our agency. We are licensed in 34 states. We have a Galt Insurance app that our clients can download and they're able to look at their policies. We have a newsletter. Our mission at Galt Insurance is to build relationships and to have clients and referring partners for life. We want to give the best coverage and rates to our clients so we can help better protect their greatest assets. You know, we also have, again, with the market and all these changes, we keep getting new carriers to work with. We just signed a contract a couple weeks ago with a different carrier. My president and CEO and managers, they work so hard and put so many hours into finding what companies are really the go-tos right now, because there aren't that many. But from what we're being told after this hurricane season, and I'm praying and thinking, hoping nothing happens, we're gonna see more carriers because that's gonna drive the competition. So with everything our governor is doing to help stabilize the market, we're gonna see new carriers. And lastly, I have been in sales all my life. What's important to me is providing that customer service. I treat others the way I want to be treated. You can contact me by phone, text, email. I have a team that is there behind me. And what's so great about the agency I work for is that we offer that personal touch. You are not going to an automated voicemail system. We are there to serve you. And I know I've given you a lot of information, and I'm going to now ask you all, if you have any questions, to please do so.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Just assume that clients can be heard. I think it's double.
That's okay, Martin.
I have a question about some of my clients, you know, they're sellers, they have an existing flood insurance policy. Just,
Okay.
you know, assume that they're selling their home and there is a buyer that comes in and assumes that policy.
Yeah.
What happens after? The policy can go up to 18% per year. Is that still accurate, or was there any changes?
So what I'm glad you brought that up. So with
I'm sorry.
with the flood insurance, because of the rates being so high as they are, it's so great now, at least FEMA can do this, that a buyer can assume a seller's flood policy. It has to be FEMA regulated, and that the new buyer will basically pay more or less the same premium as the seller. It depends they keep changing their guidelines, but we just basically get a document and the seller and buyer sign the document, and then the flood policy would then be in the buyer's name. And then when the seller's flood policy is up, then that's when the buyer would renew their insurance. Eventually, okay. Yep, so and another part, I apologize. Eventually, the rates, if we keep going where we are right now, the flood rates will eventually get to what the new risk rating system offers. But again, I don't know what the future holds. We just kind of have to see what shakes out here. So.
I have a question.
Sure.
Good morning. I've also got non-renewed for September, and it was for reducing exposure, not claims. And so I've gotten a couple quotes, and my big question is, why are you not allowed to get a higher deductible on all other perils? You know, we're willing to accept a 2 or 3% deductible on hurricane, which in my case is $27,000, but the highest deductible they'll let me have on all other perils is $2,500.
It's a good question. Every carrier is different. So it just depends upon depending upon if it's a non-admitted market. So what I mean by that, it's the Lloyd's of London, the Scottsdales, TOPA, they offer a higher all other perils deductible because they have nothing to lose, basically. They're not backed by the state. These other admitted carriers like Olympus and Frontline and Monarch, they're limited on what all other perils that they could offer their clients. And it all has to do with it has to do with the risk in itself. So if the carrier wants the risk, they will offer certain terms or what have you, or deductibles. If they don't, then we'll know right away that we can't use this carrier to insure the risk.
Well, are there any carriers that will just offer like a catastrophe type thing to where we can self-insure like 50,000 and then just insure over that? Is that in the marketplace?
So when you say catastrophe and 50,000, are you talking about like why? What exactly are you talking about? Like as far as?
Well, that you're willing to self-insure the small losses, you know, up to 50,000. The only thing that you'd be, I'm just throwing that out as an example.
Sure. Because again, we insure a home based upon replacement cost, and it just all depends because there's so many different factors that go into insurance policy. So every risk is different. The carriers look at how the property is occupied, the claims history. So depending upon let's just say you were just like, I don't want to pay these high premiums. I'm just going to roll the dice. I'll just do X wind. So there's certain carriers that can offer X wind. And then maybe they would offer a higher all the perils deductible. So it's just, there's so many different factors. And that's why we at Galt Insurance, which I tell people all the time, I talk to people on the phone, I'll take down the information, but we have templates that we email out. So once we have all the information, then we zip it through our system and it tells us what carriers are most competitive or what have you. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Kristen, I have a question.
Sure.
What we're seeing now is the price of homes still on the high end, which is ridiculous, right? I mean, a house 3 years ago was $350,000, now it's $600,000. Mm-hmm. So when they say replacement costs and you're like, well, I don't want to insure it for $600,000. I don't think it's going to be that much to rebuild. Can you tell them I don't want to insure that much for What do they call
Well,
that?
so what happens is that we have a replacement cost estimator. We put in the square footage of the property, and then we answer a series of questions. So it all depends upon, now we have carriers where we'll bind the policy, right? Then they'll do the inspection. So some of the carriers are like, okay, it's definitely insured correctly because now we had an inspector go out, look in the interior of the home, you know, as far as if there's crown molding, if there's granite countertops. So they'll let us know, okay, it's insured correctly, we're good, we'll issue the policy, there's no issues. We have other carriers that come back and they're just like, oh wow, it's underinsured or certain coverages. So it all depends. We at Galt Insurance, we don't want, like I'm seeing a little bit, some of these policies I'm looking at recently that the dwelling coverage is fairly low. And that's my job to educate why. And again, these policies have inflation guard. So it's a percentage on the dwelling coverage that helps keep up with builders, materials, and labor's costs. Because again, it's inflation. It's like you said, the prices are outrageous. So it's something where every case is different. So, but that's how we figure out replacement costs. We are not insuring the land. We don't go by purchase price, appraised value. We are insuring the property. So,
and then if you had, like I had a wind mitigation done and they put me in the sea level, which I don't understand because we do have shutters and we've had put them up, and I don't understand why they would have put me not even in a B level for wind.
So every opening, including skylights, your front door, your garage door, the little window, maybe you have your bathroom, the little window there, every opening has to be protected. And what I've been finding is some of these inspectors, because it's a rush thing, right? We had Hurricane Ian, everyone's rushing to get their house looked at, people are getting canceled, everything's in a rush. So I've had clients where I'm like, go back to your inspector and tell them that you have hurricane protection here and there.
He took photos of them. That's what I don't understand. He took photos of the shutters.
Carriers have to see the etching on the glass. And then it has to be rated like for your front door and your garage door. There has to be an etching, especially on the glass.
On the windows?
Yes.
But if they're not hurricane rated, why would they have an etching?
Well, I guess I was saying if they are hurricane rated, you'll see the etching. If they're not, it has to be all or nothing, unfortunately.
If you have the steel shutters that you put up, and yeah, so I'll have to go back to the inspector.
Yes. Okay. And to touch on this topic. So again, we're learning things new. We're learning things every day, right? So with a wind mitigation report, just so you know, okay, that we at Galt Insurance, we have a company that we work with and refer, and it's called Third Nail, Maximum Solutions. So when I see a wind mitigation report and I see in the attachment it's toenails, if the insured puts a third nail in their roof, they can get a credit called clips. And that also will help decrease their insurance premium. And it could cost a few $100s, it could cost a few $1,000s. So depending upon the home itself and what the insured wants to pay for or what have you. But basically I send the link out and they can get a quote within 24 hours. So it's really helped some of my clients a lot. It's just taken that extra time and just educating, right? I'm here to help people. I understand the economy is just, it's crazy right now, but we just want to help people save money. So,
It's disturbing when you had a wind mitigation, like say 5 years ago, and it was passed, and now you have it 5 years later and they're not doing this. It looks like the report has really expanded as well.
Yes, it has. But if you look through that report thoroughly, if you feel something is not right, go back to the inspector and talk to them about it. So we've had clients where they have two different reports and some of the information is different from the other one. So it said, no, go back and explain, because this is a huge factor. And I have told inspectors, I said, you have no idea, without having this person's insurance is going to be outrageous, you know? So it is what it is, right? But at least if we can educate and give our clients options of what they can do. So, but the third nail is really, is crucial too, to help people.
Thank you.
Sure.
Did you have a question? Michael, did you have a question for Kristen? You have to unmute yourself. Michael,
You have to.
Unmute.
Can you unmute him?
You need to unmute. You muted.
You got to unmute, Michael. Michael, you got to unmute yourself. It's in the bottom right corner. Should be on there.
He's on the phone. Oh.
He can't get his question out.
You can type it.
I don't even think he's looking at the chat though. That's too bad.
I do have a question, you know, until he gets unmuted. So is there any cheat sheet or anything that I can use as a realtor helping my buyers, my clients, to get them the flood insurance quote? Let's say you're showing properties today, he likes 3, 4, he just says, you know, the flood insurance quote is so important for me because that's the deal breaker. And I always, you know, I refer him to you. But is there anything that we can just go and maybe type the address?
Hi, Michael. You can, you're unmute and you can talk.
Yeah, I had a question about solar panels. I'm being dropped by the company I have now because of my solar panels. When I get my renewal next April, they're dropping me.
It's a huge liability on the insurance companies.
Well, they don't warn you that when they're selling it to you. Now that I have them, what the heck do I do?
No, solar panels are getting more and more popular. Okay, and I get that. There are carriers they'll allow the solar panels, and there's all different kinds. So cloth, that's more or less to heat up the pool, but net metering, that's affecting your electric bill, which of course that helps you save money. So there are carriers like Tower Hill, American Integrity that will cover the solar panels that are net metering, and there are a lot that do not because it's a liability. I am hoping after this hurricane season again, because we're going to start seeing more carriers and we're going to have more competition. We have to, because we have to in order to get this where we're supposed to be right now in the insurance market. But I know it stinks. I have clients of my own that they have solar panels, so I shop it. I tell them what their options are, and that's really it. But the carriers are not jumping up and down with solar panels.
Okay. Well, I was unaware of that. I had Tower Hill originally, and then they more than doubled my rates, which I should have went with anyway. I went shopping around and found a carrier, and now they're the ones dropping me after a year.
Okay. And unfortunately, in this hardening market, carriers change their guidelines daily. So it's a lot, and it's frustrating on our end. And obviously it's frustrating on the insured because it's changing rapidly. So, but that's why we're constantly seeking more carriers to work with so we can help as many people as we can.
Well, does any of your companies take care of them?
On the top of my head, we have 2, which is American Integrity and Tower Hill. But I'd have to look at the whole risk, the age of the home, age of the roof. and I may have one more. I just have to look back, but those are the two that come to mind.
Okay. Well, I'll be contacting you then.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Michael.
Yep.
Someone else had a question. I apologize. Who?
I have a question.
Okay, yeah, sorry. So you were saying, so again, you're a realtor, you're out with clients, you're asking what things that you could do to help as far as give them an idea for insurance? Is that?
Is there any PT, any system maybe that you guys developed that I can maybe put address in and gonna give me an estimate for the flood insurance to help me?
So I actually have a link. I answer my phone. I don't mind talking to people on the weekends. If I have people that are like, Kristen, I'm showing this property. What's the flood premium? Because the seller doesn't have a flood policy. So I can go on my system, find it right away, but I can email you all a link on FEMA and it'll show you what flood zone, and then that way you'll know, right? X flood zone, yes, that is the lowest floodplain. So does an insured have to have a flood policy? No, but obviously as an agent, I give options. But the main thing that you could ask the listing agent is if the seller has a FEMA flood policy, whether any flood zone, because there are people where they're so nervous about living in the state of Florida or vacationing that they want to have a flood policy. So that would be something that I would definitely ask the listing agent. And then also claims. When I have in my template, I ask the insured, does the seller have any claims? And of course, everyone answers no. So when we do the quote, we run the claims history, ding, 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 there's a claim. And then I go back to the realtor or the client. I said, he's like, well, it wasn't mine. Well, how come I can't get insurance? I said, well, you've got to find out now from your realtor, for your realtor to talk to the listing agent, because I need more information. So. The days, unfortunately, the days of calling us up and saying, can you give me an idea of insurance premium? It's really hard to do. I try my best. I can run it through one carrier, right? And try to give you an idea. But if I'm looking at like a 1980 home, it's so hard. And that wind mitigation is crucial. So also the roof age, right? Why should I get asked all the time, Kristen, I have a client with a 30-year-old tile roof. Is it insurable? Well, we're seeing right now, we have carriers that are offering a deductible for the roof, carriers where they exclude roof. So there's all different options, but if the new buyer is getting a mortgage, they have to have wind coverage. So therefore, they're gonna see these high premiums, even more so if it's an older home. But I truly believe, I'm trying to stay positive here and trying to give you the light at the end of the tunnel, as much as this is a lot of ups and downs. And this is one of the hardest markets we've seen in a long, long time, that if we get through this hurricane season and everything that is going on and has been done in legislation with our governor, that we're going to see more carriers. We're going to. Are the rates going to be low? No. That is going to take time, but there's going to be more avenues. There has to be. So there's so many people coming down here, whether they live here full time or they're vacationing. So
coming up, okay. Holly do need plumbing. We run into this a lot with our own.
Yeah. I know. So poly is a big no-no in the insurance world. However, again, it's a plastic pipe. They're mostly found in homes and condos that were built in the 1990s. I have a carrier that's opened up for poly. They will endorse a water limitation of $10,000 that will cover their water in case something were to happen in the condo. but there's all these different factors that go along with the risk. So if the insurance company does not make a certain amount of money on the policy, they will not insure the property. And that goes for everything, but poly is something that it's just, if it has poly, a lot of the times I say we can't insure it. It really depends upon the relationship and the whole risk itself. So if it's a rental, there's a claim, there's like, we're not gonna be able to insure the property, so.
Okay, follow up to that. I understand that we, full point wind and mitigation and all the testing, but if we're out with the client and the home that we're looking at for the client and we're preparing to write an offer, we're going to do our due diligence. If the roof is under 10 years old, is that a positive thing, or is there a cutoff point where that becomes an issue, the roof?
You're saying over or under? I'm sorry, Mike. I couldn't hear.
If the age of the roof is higher than 10 years.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't, as long as the roof is in good condition, and that is why, of course, the homeowner the buyer would get a home inspection, which we don't want to look at. And then there's the 4-point. So, it just, if there's leaks and everything, then obviously it's not going to fly. On the application for an insurance policy, it asks you if there's any existing damage or what have you to the home. So I have a client right now where she has a cracked roof tile, there's a leak in the kitchen, and she's going through mediation. She said, well, I'm going to get everything done. And I said, well, I can't insure your home. It's a cash deal. She said, I cannot insure your home until everything is done because it's a liability. And if we don't do our due diligence as an agency, that is not going to help our relationship with the carrier. So, but I wouldn't be afraid right now. If you feel, okay, it's 20 years old, like we will have options for the insured, but if they have an older roof, they've got to be under the impression where this is going to be a costly insurance policy. So, especially if it's I'm just throwing this out, 1980 house in Marco Island, 20-year-old tile roof, it's going to be costly. It could be double digits, to be honest with you. So. It could. I'm seeing it. So, but it's bad. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but I'm trying to stay positive because of the changes that we're making here, that there's made. So.
Any other questions from the audience or from the team? Excellent. Kristen, we really appreciate you coming on today and educating us. Today, we'll probably follow this up with after we get through hurricane season, fingers crossed, nobody has any damage anywhere. We'll, maybe 6 months from now, we'll wait to see what the governor's come up with. And if you feel that it's valuable to update it again, please let us know so we can. Absolutely. Yep. Other than that, thank you all for joining us today, and thank you so much for doing this. Thank you all for having me. I really appreciate it. So I look forward to working with you all.
Thanks, Kristen. I'll get in touch with you.
Okay, sounds good, Donna.
Take care, guys. Bye, hon.
Bye.